NATO's strength relies on seamless cooperation. But what if a new aircraft deal threatens to disrupt that delicate balance? The Gripen acquisition isn't just a matter for one nation. It has the potential to ripple across the entire alliance, demanding unforeseen adjustments to their joint defense strategies. We're exploring the critical challenges this deal presents and how NATO might be forced to adapt. At first glance, it looks like a routine defense story. A country signs a deal, new jets are ordered, and the Air Force gets a modern upgrade. But this time, it's different. The aircraft in question? The Saab Gripen, Sweden's pride, a lightweight yet cutting-edge fighter jet that's quietly rewriting the rules of modern air combat. So why is this deal making headlines across Europe and beyond? For starters, the Gripen isn't just another jet. It's a symbol of independence, efficiency, and strategic choice. Unlike its heavier and more expensive competitors, the Gripen offers nations a cost-effective way to maintain air superiority without being locked into the orbit of major defense giants like the US or France. The countries now entering this agreement are doing more than just boosting their fleets. They're sending subtle but powerful signals of shifting loyalties, recalibrating defense priorities, and perhaps even preparing for a future where NATO's unity isn't as straightforward as it once seemed. Which raises the critical question: why is this seemingly simple acquisition causing ripples strong enough to reach NATO headquarters? To answer that, we need to look deeper, not at the aircraft alone, but at the alliance it may disrupt. To understand why NATO is even paying attention to this deal, we need to look at one of the alliance's unshakable foundations: interoperability. This principle is the glue that holds the entire defense pact together. Whether it's a joint exercise in the Baltic, an emergency scramble over the North Sea, or rapid deployment in Eastern Europe, NATO forces must operate seamlessly, as if they were one single military machine. For decades, this has been possible because the alliance relied on a small group of airframes: the F-16, the F-35, and the Eurofighter Typhoon. These jets don't just share technology, they share logistics pipelines, standardized training programs, and decades of hard-earned familiarity among pilots and ground crews. It's this uniformity that allows NATO to respond quickly, decisively, and in perfect coordination when a threat emerges. Now, imagine throwing a new player into the mix: the Gripen. On paper, it's a capable, even admired fighter, with advanced avionics, low operating costs, and exceptional maneuverability. But its introduction creates friction points. Every additional platform requires new training modules, unique maintenance protocols, and even separate supply chains for spare parts. Suddenly, those picture-perfect NATO exercises risk running into delays, inefficiencies, or worse, critical miscommunications in the heat of a real operation. So while the Gripen's acquisition looks like a smart move for the nation buying it, for NATO, it sparks a delicate question. Can the alliance preserve its unity if members start charting their own paths with aircraft outside the core family? But the Gripen deal is about more than just hardware. It's about what that choice represents. For years, NATO members have leaned heavily toward standard platforms, aircraft that come from the alliance's biggest defense suppliers, especially the United States. Opting for the F-35, for instance, hasn't just been about capabilities. It's been about signaling alignment with Washington's defense doctrine. So when a member state, or even a close NATO partner, chooses the Gripen instead, it sends a subtle but unmistakable message. Priorities are shifting. Cost matters. Flexibility matters. And perhaps most importantly, independence matters. Saab has built the Gripen not just as a fighter jet, but as a platform that allows buyers to negotiate on technology transfers, local industrial partnerships, and even partial production rights. That's a radically different offer compared to the tightly controlled F-35 program, where every screw and software update passes through U.S. oversight. This isn't lost on other NATO capitals. If one country breaks from the mold, others may follow. Imagine smaller alliance members, or even non-NATO partners, realizing they too can secure modern capabilities without the political strings often tied to American or Franco-German platforms. Suddenly, the air defense landscape across Europe looks less uniform, more diverse, and potentially more complicated for NATO's command structure. The Gripen deal, then, is more than a procurement choice. It's a signpost of strategic realignment, a quiet reshaping of alliance dynamics that could ripple outward in unexpected ways. The Gripen deal doesn't just shift political dynamics, it has real, tangible effects on NATO's day-to-day readiness. Rapid deployment forces, which rely on plug-and-play integration, now face a new challenge. NATO's integrated air defense systems are finely tuned to recognize, track, and coordinate with the alliance's core jets. Bringing the Gripen into that web means recalibration, new data links, and testing scenarios that didn't exist before. Then comes training. Pilots don't just switch cockpits overnight. They require months of conversion programs. Ground crews must learn a completely different set of maintenance procedures, from engine checks to weapons integration. Even command centers have to adapt, ensuring their tactical doctrines can incorporate Gripen-equipped squadrons into missions alongside F-16s, Eurofighters, or F-35s. Each of these steps consumes resources, time, and political will. And yet, the Gripen also brings opportunities. Its ability to operate from short, even improvised airstrips makes it ideal for the kind of dispersed, resilient operations NATO has been quietly planning for in the event of a high-intensity conflict in Eastern Europe. Its lower operating cost means member states could keep more jets in the air for longer, easing the budget pressures that often strain alliance commitments. In certain roles, quick reaction alert, Baltic air policing, or regional defense along NATO's eastern flank, the Gripen's unique strengths could actually enhance alliance flexibility rather than hinder it. So the question becomes, is NATO looking at a logistical headache or a chance to diversify its tactical toolbox? The answer may depend less on the aircraft itself and more on how willing the alliance is to adapt.
Up to this point, we've explored the challenges, the interoperability hurdles, the training adjustments, the shifting politics. But what if the Gripen acquisition isn't just a complication, but an opportunity? By introducing diversity into NATO's air fleets, the alliance may be forced to do something it has long resisted: innovate at the systemic level. Instead of relying on uniformity as the cornerstone of cohesion, NATO could develop smarter logistics frameworks, modular training systems, and more advanced communication protocols capable of bridging differences between multiple platforms. In other words, the alliance could grow more resilient by necessity. The Gripen's strengths, agility, cost efficiency, and independence from traditional suppliers may inspire NATO to rethink how it prepares for tomorrow's wars. Not just conflicts fought with predictable assets, but messy, fast-moving crises where adaptability and resourcefulness matter as much as raw firepower. This isn't about replacing the F-35 or sidelining the Eurofighter. It's about creating a layered, flexible defense ecosystem where each platform plays to its unique strengths. So while the Gripen deal sends ripples of uncertainty today, it could just as easily lay the foundation for a stronger, more versatile NATO tomorrow, one capable of meeting threats across the spectrum, from cyber to conventional, and from Europe's skies to its eastern frontiers. In the end, the question isn't whether the Gripen will challenge NATO unity, but whether NATO can transform that challenge into a strategic advantage. The Gripen deal may be stirring debates in NATO's halls, but one thing is clear: the skies over Europe are changing fast. What do you think? Will this make NATO stronger or more divided? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this analysis valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us here on Viperjet Wings, your cockpit view into the future of global air power.